Hi, my name is Sasha Oliver Prolic. I'm the maintainer of the prooph components, and today I'm gonna do a short demo introduction into the prooph components. So in order to do this, I created some demo application that we want to fill with live today. This is a very simple homepage. We have some posts here on the front page, and we don't have any pagination, and we have a create post page where we can put a title and the content that should be shown here on this front page. And basically that's it. There's not much more to show here. The base of this application is Zend Expressive. I'm just going through this very short. The template that I used is from the startbootstrap.com website. Yeah, I can remove this. The index PHP, for those not familiar with Zend Expressive, it's pretty simple. We just have here these error reporting, change dir, require vendor autoload. Then we gonna require our container, get the expressive application, require the pipeline, the routes, and run the application. So this is pretty straightforward. For configuration wise, we are interested of course in this one, config container. So the container requires the configuration file. This is this one here, and there's a key dependencies which is used by Zend Service Manager, and we are configuring the service manager with our dependencies. And we set the config as a service into the service manager, so whenever we access container get config, we receive our application configuration. The config itself is a config aggregator. We fetch all the files from the folder config, autoload, and then whatever is .global or .local PHP, and we return a merged config. Next thing is we have the pipeline. The pipeline is basically some Zend Expressive stuff. We don't go too deep in here. We have the original message middleware, the error handler, the server URL middleware, the pipe routing middleware, URL helper middleware, the pipe dispatch middleware, and the not found handler. Yeah, that's basically it. And we have our application routes, and we're gonna add get. This is an HTTP GET request on /. We want to use the middleware action post list, and we give it a name which is post list. And so this is our route here, okay? And then we have another query, HTTP GET request on /create post, and we use the action create post, and this is our name for this. So we have those two routes here available. So let's take a short look at our configuration. It's not too much here. I pretty much stripped everything away that's not needed to run the application. We have debug enabled, config cache disabled, some Zend Expressive settings like the error handler, the template 404, template error, the switch to programmatic pipeline, and race throwables, which is set to true. And then we have our base dependencies for the application. The Zend Expressive delegate default delegate is the not found delegate. The router interface, we use Aura router. And we have configured a bunch of factories: the application factory, error handler factory, error response generator factory, the Aura router, URL helper, server URL helper, server URL middleware, URL helper middleware, Json payload. We come to this in a second. The not found delegate, not found handler, original message, and our own actions, which is the post list and the create post, where we have correspondable factories here. About this JSON payload middleware, this is something that is not specific to Expressive. It's basically copy-pasted from the Professor Do application that you can find on GitHub at the prooph organization. The JSON payload middleware does basically the following. We receive a request and get the header line content type, and we check if the content type is application JSON, and if so, we try to JSON decode the request body and check for some JSON errors and accordingly throw an exception if something is happening. Otherwise, we create a new request where we put the parsed body in as array, so we don't have to deal with JSON decoding on our controllers. We can simply assume that we have request payload available. So this is really something helpful. We have a JSON response. This is pretty straightforward. We have a promise in the argument. We put out the Zend JSON response, which is Zend response JSON response. And yeah, basically that's it. We have here our create post and the post list. For the factories real quick, the create post factory returns new create post and the template renderer interface. Same for the post list factory. And our post list pretty much does nothing. It just processes our request and returns an HTML response with a template render page post list. And for the create post, it's pretty much the same. We render the page create post. And in our templates global configuration, we have the dependencies configured. So our factories for the template renderer interface is the ZendView renderer factory. So we are using ZendView on the front end and the ZendView helper plugin manager. And our templates are configured here. We have a layout, app layout, and a template map. So we have a mapping for every template name to a file name here. Error is templates error 404. App layout is this one. Page post list and page create post. And that's basically it. That's everything we need to set this thing here up. We have those two nice pages here, and we wanna fill this with live and use the prooph components for this. So I hope I didn't forget anything to show you up front what this app is about. And we're gonna take a short look at the composer JSON. What are our dependencies? We have PHP 7.1, the Aura router, the HTTP interop, HTTP middleware, prooph common, prooph event sourcing, prooph event store bus bridge, PDO event store, snapshot store, the prooph PSR7 middleware. We're gonna use this a little bit later. The prooph service bus, a snapshotter, PSR container, Rove security advisories, where this is only a demo application, so we might not need it, but nonetheless. Zandrokal interop config. This is something we can use for the factories provided by prooph, and some WebImpress HTTP middleware compatibility, and some Zend framework components like Zend config aggregator, Zend Expressive, Aura router helper, Zend view renderer, Zend filter, Zend service manager, and Zend standard lib. And we have auto-loading available, PSR4 for prooph demo in our source directory. So that's it, and we want to start doing some real stuff. Well, basically what we have here is posts, and we don't have any authorization or permission checks in any way. So let's just create some model post class. So this is our aggregate root. Namespace is prooph demo model. Our post extends the aggregate root from the prooph event sourcing component. We could also use the traits, but this is pretty good for us. And we have to implement those two methods. And we have an ID. And the ID is a UUID. Oh, I think there's an interface, yes. So we're gonna use this one. And we have a title. And we have a content. Is it the same naming that I used here? Yeah, title content. So we're gonna stick to the same. And we're gonna make this stuff as much explicit as possible, so we make classes for everything. We can copy paste here a little bit the top. Whoops. So the title is a string. We want to assert that it's not empty. So, yeah, that's basically it. We can copy paste this for the content. We're gonna replace this here with content. Yeah. So we have title, content, and the post, and we have a post ID. Final class post ID. Yeah, then we have here no UUID interface. We have everything explicitly defined as classes. So we have a post ID as class. This here can go. Some boilerplate that we have to write. We actually want to be really super explicit, so you don't have to do this. We just want to make it as explicit as possible. If not, UUID is valid. throw an invalid argument exception. Yeah, that's it, I think. Can add the toString method. Yeah, we don't need anything more. We can compare also for some content, but this is okay. So our aggregate ID is should return string. This post ID toString, and for apply we're gonna do this a little bit later. And then we have a named constructor. We're gonna create the post with a post ID, a title, and a content, and this will create a new post. So we're gonna set the properties. Oh, no. That's my fault. Record that post was created with post ID, title, content. This is an event sourced aggregate, and it should record events, not just set dump properties. So we need our post was created event. Let's create this here real quick. Post was created. Yeah, we can reuse the header here and say final class post was created extends to main event. Anything we have to implement here is use payload trait. That's it. Yeah, the payload trait, if you don't know the prooph components, it has public function construct array payload and return the payload, set payload. That's pretty straightforward. And the message name is get class this. So our message that we sent is prooph demo model event post was created, and that's not nice. So we can override this property here and put there some meaningful string like this. So we don't have these long class names as message names. We use post was created, very short string, and that's good. We have a named constructor. Phew. So this is our first thing in the payload. The title is the title, and the content So that's it basically. We don't need much more, but we can do a little bit more in terms of caching. We could set this stuff here. This is the post ID. This is the title. This is the content. Then we have here event is new self. Event post ID is post ID. And the content. And then we can here generate some getters for our stuff, and we're gonna get rid of the get prefix. I don't like this. So this is good, but we don't always have the payload the properties available, especially when the event is created from the payload. So we're gonna check this first. When null is the post ID, oops, post ID from string actually, right? So this is for post ID, same for title and for content. So we have here the title, and this is title from string title, and we have content. So that's it, we have created our first event. We have even created all the boilerplate, that it's not really needed always, but we're gonna do everything as explicit as possible. And here is some problem. Oh yeah, this is not domain event, this is aggregate changed. The aggregate changed is extends domain event, but yeah, so this is a little bit different. Did I miss anything else here? Well, we're gonna set the aggregate ID as well. You know what? Let's take a short look at prooph, github.com/prooph. Before I do here stupid stuff because I forget something, let's take a short look at our Professor Do demo application. Here we have the to-do. Event to-do was posted. It's pretty much the same. Yeah, we're gonna call sale occur and give the aggregate ID first, and then we're good. Okay. Yeah, let's gonna change this real quick. Event is self occur post ID toString. Can remove this one. this aggregate ID. Oh. Yeah, that's good. I think that's good. Let's run with it for now. And then we have to apply this method. If, let's use a switch. Case post was created class. So when the post was created, we have to set all the properties, right? So this post ID, this event, and now the boilerplate comes really handy. I hate PHP Storm. Why it doesn't do this stuff, or not, doesn't do this stuff already. Let's go with this here. Now we have autocomplete. Yeah, this is a problem in PHP Storm that I reported there already, I think, months ago, and they didn't implement it, the switch statement. But I think they really should do it. Yeah, that's basically it. We can add some getters here for this stuff. Let's get rid of the get prefix again. Yeah, that's it. So we have our post aggregate, it's an aggregate root. We can create the post. We have to give the post ID, title, content. We have a new post, record that post was created, return post, and the apply method. I think it's good. So we have our first event here, and then we're gonna need a command, right? So the create post command. Let's reuse this here again, but the namespace is command. What do we have to implement here? Use the payload straight, and that's it. For command, the same thing. We don't want to use the class name. This is really awkward. Let's name it create post. Yeah, basically we don't need much more here, but it's really nice to have this autocomplete available. So let's add the getters for our stuff. This is for the post ID, then we have the title and the content. Whoops, that's the title. I was a little bit too quick. That's the content, right? So that's it. We have our create post command, and last but not least, for our domain we need the handler. Create post handler. Create post command. We're gonna create. What's wrong? It's not static. Create command post ID command title command content. Other than that, we have a post collection. I think we need two methods here, but let's take a look at what Professor Do has to say. So we can just copy paste this. I think it must be here. Here, user collection. Save and get. Yeah. So, we wanna save a post. And we wanna fetch a post by ID and return a post, or don't. So this is our post collection, and for the create post handler we have here the post collection. Let's add a constructor real quick. Come on. So this post collection save post. So our handler returns void here. Yeah, and that's it. So we've written our create post handler, and what we're gonna need is a factory for our handler here, because the handler returns here needs a post collection, so we're gonna need a factory. We can't just invoke the class. Let's do this here real quick. Create post handler factory. Yeah, we can container model class bumps. Container returns create post handler. And we're gonna get the post collection from the container and put it in the create post handler. So that's it. Other than that, we need an implementation of our post collection. We don't want to pollute our model for it, so we're gonna do it here in the source directory. We'll call it infrastructure, because that's the infrastructure of our application, and it has nothing to do with the domain model. This is the event store post collection. We have to implement the post collection, and I think we can extend aggregate repository. Yeah. So, and we're gonna implement our interface. The get is this. Let's check here real quick before I make any dumb mistakes, and we're gonna lose time here. So get aggregate root post ID to string, this expects string, am I right? Yeah. So, and the save method is this save aggregate root post. That's it. Yeah. So we have our event store post collection, and next we're gonna have to wire all those things together. Let's start by adding the event store. We can call this here prooph, and we can remove here pretty much everything. So the main key for all prooph stuff is prooph, and let's check our Postgres event store factory, because we want to use the Postgres event store. And what type of keys do we need? First of all, we need the event store subkey. So if you forgot anything, do as I do, check the factories. So we're gonna have a mandatory options connection, and we're gonna use pdo.connection, and we have persistence strategy. This is the Postgres aggregate stream strategy class. Well, that's it. Anything else that is important? Yeah, the message factory. We're gonna override this in a second. Plugins. This is the transaction manager. Let's double check here real quick. Yeah, this video should not get too long, so we're gonna check here real quick. Not that we mess up too much here. Yeah, we can just put some plugins in there. Transaction manager, and yeah, I don't know if we need anything else. Let's keep it for later. If we need it, we're gonna add it later. And then we have some dependencies. First of all, we have the Postgres aggregate stream strategy, which can be loaded with an invocable factory, and then we have the transaction manager. I think there's an factory for this one, yeah. Any dependencies? No. Oops, and this is our default event store. So we're gonna move this here up. And we have a PDO connection. Do we have a PDO connection factory? Yes. That's nice. PDO.connection is PDO connection factory class. So what do we need for the PDO connection factory? We use PDO connection as key here, and we have host DB name char set is default, and mandatory is this one. So let's add it real quick. Schema is PSQL for Postgres. The user is, I think, Postgres, and password is empty, and port is 5432 when I'm not wrong. Let's go with it, and if we have a problem we can fix it later. And this is our default connection. So something like this. Yeah, looks pretty good. And next thing is we're gonna register our repository. Let's copy paste this here real quick. Event sourcing aggregate repository. This is the post list. We don't have a user here. The repository class is event store post collection. The aggregate type, this is to do post class. The aggregate translator is the default one. And the stream name is post. And I think we need a key more. Yeah, the one stream per aggregate at least, because we want to use the aggregate stream strategy. So for every post we have a new database table created. We gotta teach our aggregate repository that this is the case. And yeah, snapshot store is something we can do later. So we have here the aggregate type mapping. Aggregate type. Yeah, let's do this. The key is mapping. I think it's key value, because we don't want this post class name used across the board. We can just refer to a string, short string. So we have the event sourcing set up, the aggregate translator. I think we have to put this into some configuration. Let's check the dependencies here real quick. Yeah, transaction manager has to be set up. Oh, we have it. The aggregate translator was the question. Aggregate translator. Yeah, it's gonna fetch the aggregate translator, so we're gonna need this as well here. Yeah, that's pretty much all, I guess. Yeah. I think this was the website. Yeah. So Baskama, he wrote a nice blog post about the custom message names in prooph, and we're gonna use this. So I wanted to use his blog post as reference on how to do this. So let's copy paste this. Alright, infrastructure, and this is the command factory. So our command name is create post, and we're gonna refer to create post class. We're gonna implement the message factory. I think that's wrong. That returns in command. String message name returns message. So we can remove if isset this message map message name, message class is this one, otherwise message class is message name. If no class exists, it's not a subclass of domain message. When this is not isset, when the version is not isset, metadata, yeah, looks good. And then we have an event factory as well. we want to split those two. Post was created. What's wrong with this guy? Is this the same here? Yeah. Command factory, event factory. Okay. And let's teach the aggregate repository. No, I think it's the event store. Yeah. Let's teach our event store that we have here the event factory available, and we're gonna teach invocable factory class, and we have here the command factory as well available. So that's it for the basic setup, I think. Yeah, so if I didn't miss anything, most of the stuff should work. What we're gonna need is an action in our application that receives the command and does the rest for us. So here comes the middleware into play. We have a PSR7 middleware, and we don't have query right away, we don't have event or message right away, but we have here the command factory, and we have the Json response. So we have those available, and yeah, of course we have to set up the command bus. I forgot this. Yeah, we're gonna use the service bus as well. So the command bus we're gonna route create post to create post in the class. So this is our command bus implementation. Yeah, we need only this. And for the PSR7 middleware, I will show you this real quick. We have here the command middleware, and what it does, it gets the command name from the request attribute. It uses the command factory with the request get parsed body. It's great that we have these Json payload middleware available. Metadata, we don't actually care, and we're gonna say this command bus dispatch command. That's it. So we can use this one really simple. And yeah, we can basically copy paste this from the Professor Do application again, and but it's so damn simple that you would love. Okay, here's our routes, and we add the next route, and this is the API create post. We need the JSON payload and the command middleware, and we have the name command create post, and our command name is create post. That's it. We want to send to API create post. We use the middleware as JSON payload and command middleware with the name command create post. We set the options prooph command name, which is create post. So for most of the stuff, well, I guess we have some hiccups here. When you do this many lines of code in such a short amount of time, there's no way we have it bug free. But no worries, we get this done. So we have here UUID.js, so we can create UUID version 4 in the front end, and we have our create post JavaScript. I prepared already a little bit. Yeah, just called this API create post. Let's go through this really quick. We have a post JSON function, which basically does a jQuery AJAX call with content type application JSON, type post, data is JSON stringify, data type is JSON, and that's it. And we have a submit post form, some inputs there, and basically what we do is we're gonna create our post ID. We're gonna fetch the title, we're gonna fetch the content, and then we're gonna post JSON to API create post, and with those values, and if it's okay, we're gonna say, oh, it's okay, you're being redirected, and after a timeout of 2 seconds we're gonna redirect him to the home page. And otherwise we stay on the page and say, sorry, there's an error, please try again later. So this is our JavaScript that we're gonna use, and yeah, let's try it. What we're gonna need, let's first go here and let's check with our Postgres database. Create database prooph demo. We can use this one. Did we name it correctly? We don't have a database name. That's great. So PDO connection factory. We need a database name. Which is prooph demo. So that's it. And we're gonna need the basic setup of the Postgres event store. There are these scripts here for Postgres. Here's our event streams table. Use prooph demo. No, it's Postgres. It's a little different. create database prooph demo. Okay. That's working now. So we have our event streams and projections tables set up. And let's try it, right? Why not? Title, demo, this is a first test, and I bet it's not working, but we're gonna try anyway. So what's the problem here? Delegate the JSON payload. I just copy pasted this one, but I was too stupid. To copy paste. Command middleware is not set up properly. So we're gonna check those here. It's not there, but now it is, and it's working again. So next try. Oops. Okay. Demo. This is our second attempt. It says it doesn't want to. So let's check here. JavaScript bug, but we don't care about JavaScript right now. So fatal error. Error. Resolver could not resolve to a file. Don't I have here error available? Well, this looks not so good. Let's check here again. Yeah. 2 double points, and I have here splashes. So let's try this again. The post has been submitted. You are getting redirected. Let's check if it has worked really. Select star from event streams, and it's nothing there. So I think it probably didn't work, but the application says so. Let's check our command middleware. We have here our command. Let's var dump and die. So nothing to preview. So really, seems not to work. Let's preserve the log for a second. There's no response available. Yeah, we sent post ID with underscore, so that's not nice. let's see. API create post, so the route seems to be correct. And yeah, I don't know what's going on right now, but we're gonna find out. First of all, reload the page because we fixed some JavaScript problem. And yeah, this one is now correct, but it doesn't seem to route to our command middleware. Let's check here real quick. Come on. Yeah, I knew this gonna happen. Things like this always happen. If you don't prepare so much. So the command middleware is not working right now. That's bad. And while I was thinking about it, we didn't set up the command bus, did we? Nope. So we have the command bus now. Okay, let's not use the let's just debug for a few minutes, and we're gonna find out what's wrong. So the payload is coming in. And then we have the command middleware factory. Let's var dump here for a second. Do we go there? Yeah. So we return this one. Do we go here? Nope. Do we have an error here? Yeah. Allowed memory size exhausted. That's not nice. That's the interface. Let's try this here real quick if we are in the constructor. Seems like not. But we were here, right? Yeah. And let's check. Do we find this one? Yeah. Do do we find this one? Yeah. Do we find this one? No. We don't find the response strategy. So let's check this one real quick. Response strategy is JSON response. And for the JSON response, we have some configuration or not? No, we don't. Ha! So that's the problem. I hope that's the only one for now. We can have some more later, but I don't want to get this too boring. So let's check. Do we go here in the command middleware? Yes. Do we go into the method? Yes. Do we get a command name? This looks pretty good here right now. Yep. So I would assume the rest is working, and let's try again. This is our real first try, right? So seems to be working. No error here. Select star from event stream, doesn't work. So we still have var dump. The command factory. So let's debug this here real quick. We're gonna create a post. Bams. So here's our class. Infrastructure UUID not found. Damn. So our command factory is not working. Yeah. So that's it. And I think we have the same in the event factory, because that's basically a copy and paste. So let's check again, and we have a nice object here. So I assume it finally works, but let's see. Yeah, error handling could be better, but for now this is not that important, and it's still not working. So there's nothing in it. Let's check this here real quick. Message dispatch failed. See previous exception for details. Get previous. Then let's check it. The command create post was not handled. So we don't have a command handler for create post. Let's check this. We have create post and we have a create post handler. Yeah, this thing turns out to be a little longer than expected. Create post handler. Did we add this? No. Do we have a factory for this? Create post handler factory. Let's check for the usage real quick. No, we don't have it. Create post handler factory. Unable to resolve service post collection to a factory. Yep, that's right. So the post collection refers to aggregate repository. I forgot. Yeah, but that's not a big deal, I hope. Nope, it's not here. Prooph global. No. Prooph dependencies. User to-do list factory. Yeah, something like this here. Yep. Aggregate repository factory. And that's post collection, and I think this is the key here. Oh, it's post list. Let's rename this real quick. So let's replay again. Unable to resolve service event store to a factory. Oh, that's right. We didn't do this. Event store class is Postgres event store factory class. Service with name PDO connection could not be created. No password supplied. So event store benchmarks. I have a password which is Postgres. So let's check again. Allowed memory size exhausted. Prooph action event limiter on line 181. Whoop. Fetch category names. I don't know why this is happening. So let's close all of this stuff for now. Event store, default connection, PDO connection, event store factory, event factory, Postgres aggregate stream strategy, plugins transaction manager. So let's check with here. Persistence strategy. Yeah, this looks pretty good. I'm not sure why this is failing right now. So let's continue after I recharged my battery of the notebook. I looked into the problems that we had, and the fix is pretty simple. First of all, if we create a post here and we have an error message, then the send button here is disabled and we can't use it anymore. So that's an easy fix. We just here get the submit post button and remove the disabled attribute. The second one is in the prooph configuration. This one here is not needed. As we see it here, the aggregate translator is the interface, which is wrong. So let's remove this and make it the aggregate translator class. So that's good. Last but not least, the transaction manager. As you see, it takes the event store as a constructor argument and attaches to the message bus. So this here is really a service bus plugin and not a event store plugin. So let's move it here to the command bus, and when everything else is fine and we didn't add additional bugs to our system, we should finally be able to create posts. So let's try this for a second. This is the demo title and some demo content. Yep, looks good. So we can check the database real quick. It looks good. So let's see what we have in our event streams. We have a post with an ID and we have a stream name. So category is post. Let's check this one. And we see we have here the number, first event, we have an event ID, event name, post was created, so instead of using the class name, we use here the message name, which is better to read, and the payload, title, demo title, content, demo content, and metadata. We have the aggregate ID, aggregate type post, so we don't use class names here again. This comes basically from our configuration here. So we map post to the post class, so we don't use the class name. And we have an aggregate version of 1 and then created at timestamp including microseconds. So this looks really good. We can create some more posts, another title, another content, and now we have 2 posts here. So next thing we want to do is remove these demo content here and use the query bus to fetch the information and render it here. And in order to do that, we should first create a query. And this is some kind of separated from the domain model, so we call it red model. And this is the query to fetch all posts, so let's just name it query fetch posts. Namespace is prooph demo red model query, class fetch post extends query, and we don't need much information here, so we can just use the payload trait. And oh, I forgot one thing that I've made is the post was created. We had here the use payload trait also, but the aggregate changed as a specific constructor, so I had to remove the use payload trait here at the post was created event. So this is changed here as well. Yeah, so this looks pretty good right now. And we have here our new query fetch posts. We don't have any information here that we really need, so let's create a finder for this one. The finder for that is the post let me look one thing up real quick before we continue here. We have here the prooph service bus plugins, and we have finder invoke strategy, and this goes with find query deferred. I think we can use this. Just leave it open, so we maybe need to check this one later on again. So in the red model we create a finder for posts, and the namespace is in red model finder class posts public function find query, and the second argument is the deferred. And what do we return is nothing, I guess. Let's check real quick again. We return a promise interface, but this is not interesting for us, so let's void. We can check the finder invoke strategy test. We don't have any type print here at all, so let's return void. if query instance of fetch posts is fetch posts query deferred, else through new invalid argument exception invaded query given query message name. So this should be good, and now we can implement this private function fetch posts. Query deferred, and what we want to need is come on, we don't really need this. This is the posts finder. We don't have any further queries, so we just use here one. Much simpler, right? So we have a private connection property. And we have to import the PDO. Public function construct PDO connection. This connection is connection. So what we really want to do is this connection query select star from yeah, we just call it posts, our table. Let's use a prepared statement here. Wasn't this here PDO? Yep. Fetch assoc, so like this. And we're gonna resolve the deferred with our results. So this is pretty simple, I think. Looks good. What we're gonna need here is a factory for the posts finder, and we need a separate DB connection for the write model. But actually, we can use the same. Usually, you want to have different connections, but the posts table is still available. We can just reuse the same connection and save us some efforts. So let's just create the posts finder factory red model finder posts finder factory. Namespace is container red model finder class posts finder factory public function invoke container interface, and it returns us a posts finder. Return new posts finder container get. So what was the PDO connection string? It's this one. Whoops. Yep. So this is our posts finder factory. Let's add this one here. Posts finder class is posts finder factory class. Let's do it alphabetically here. This one does not belong here. So this looks pretty good. We have the posts finder factory, and now what you're gonna need is create the query bus for us. The router. Oh, there we see something. Fetch posts. The query should use a custom message name and not the class name, because this is something that I don't like. So we use fetch posts. So we're gonna route fetch posts to our posts finder. And other than that, we need some plugins, and this is the finder invoke strategy. And for the finder invoke strategy, we need to tell him how to create it, and it has no dependencies, so we can just add it as invocable factory. And this should be good already. Oh no, we need the query bus, of course. Query bus class is the query bus factory class, and this uses the default string query bus, and yeah, we have it here. So this should be working. And next on our application, we have here the posts list, and we have already the template renderer interface, and we're gonna need the query bus as well. So query bus and the template renderer interface. So we'll put here the query bus. This query bus dispatch new fetch posts and an empty payload. Yeah, so this is good. When I will remove this, it complains, so we just put an empty array. And this will return us with a promise. Query. I didn't use the query bus implementation in the last few days, so I have to copy this here from the tests. Let's here var dump our results real quick. It's empty. No, but this is good. And for params, we have here the posts results. Oops. So this is our posts lists action, and then we're gonna need here to modify the template a little bit, and this is here. For each posts as post. So we're gonna put this here first. Then we're gonna need the post title. And then we're gonna need to echo the post content. And then we're gonna use this one. I'll just leave the HR there. Shouldn't be such a big problem. So this is our new template. So as we see, we don't have here any posts at all. This is because our posts table is still empty, and what we're gonna need here is a running projection. So what we're gonna do is we create a new script, which is the posts projector. Strict types enabled, namespace prooph demo, and first thing that we need is basically some basic stuff that we have in our index.php, which is the autoloader, and we're gonna need the container. Everything else basically we don't need, and what we can do here is we go to github.com/prooph. Prooph has a do, and what we can do here is we copy a little bit from the existing projector here, because why not save some work? Yeah, this is the posts red model, and we're gonna need the PDO connection, and the projection manager. Forgot to copy that one as well. And we're gonna query from category posts. Is this right? No, the category is post. And the only thing that we have here is post was created. And we're gonna stack and insert with the event post ID toString, and then we have here our title and the content. Oops. Title toString, content toString, no other events available. So we don't have created a post red model so far, so let's do this now real quick. This is here in the red model part of our application, and the red model is basically the thing that creates our red model. We can extend the abstract class for this. So, in order to init this thing, well, we need the DB connection, of course, which is PDO. So constructor is finished. So when we init our red model, we have to create the database table. So create table posts, and we have here a ID, which is how long is this UUID? I think 36 characters, I think. Title is text, and the content is long text. Yeah, something like this. Let's not create here indexes and stuff like this. We don't need it. If it is initialized, how do we find out? Select star from posts, limit 1. we select one post at least, and if we have an exception, that's because the table does not exist. That's not initialized, right? So in order to reset this thing, is this connection prepare truncate table posts. So this is how we reset. And then we need to drop the posts once we delete the posts red model. And we have here the insert. We can also check for the abstract red model stuff. Calls this operation with args. So protected function insert array data. Insert into posts, ID, title, content, values. Statement execute. ID is data ID. And then we have the same for title and content. Yeah, it could be that we have here some problems, so this is initialized method could clearly be improved. I hope this here is also good. We can try real quick, right? Do I have to remove this here? No. Well, why not look it up real quick? This is Postgres create table syntax. Yeah, I forgot. I don't use it that often, so sometimes I forgot simple commands. But as long as you know how to look these things up, it's not a big problem. Oh, I remember we have here in the PDO event store some create table stuff. There we can also use this one here. Create table posts, and we have here the ID, which is char 36 if I remember correctly. We have here the title. Yeah, this is also okay, varchar 500, and we have a content, which is text. Primary key is ID. Unique key is also ID. Yeah, this looks pretty good. Let's try this here real quick. Primary key ID. Oh, there's a comma missing. Yep, table is created. So we can drop it again. So our post thread model is ready. So PDO connection is coming from here. This is private. Oops. Should be public, of course. Yep, and now we have to run our projector, of course. And the projection manager is not configured. That's not a big problem. This is also something that we have here available at our Professor Do application. We can just copy some configuration here, and what we need is the projection manager in our configuration and tell our app how to build this thing. Projection manager class is projection manager factory Postgres. And other than that, we tell here the application that we're gonna use the PDO connection by default. And if we now run this, you see it's working. But it doesn't seem to do anything. So let's look into it real quick. The Postgres. Oh, this is the PDO event store red model projector. So we can file dump here real quick if it is initialized. And it seems like the initialization is a problem. Yeah, basically because this is not throwing an exception. This statement error code. So the default error code is this one. I can't remember how many nulls. Then it's true. otherwise it's false. So let's try that, and we immediately go into the die section. So the table should now be created. Yep. And next time we run our projector, it should be working. But still we don't have anything in there. So there's still something going on. And the thing is, of course, this is never called, never ever, because we use this here and not the class name. Invalid parameter number, ID. Yeah, this is of course something that we messed up here. I have here ID, title, content, and I just use question marks here. So let's remove this here, and we're good to go. Still is nothing coming. So let's see. If we go here at all. Post was created. This is correctly spelled here. Category is post. This is also good. And our handler function looks good as well. So the question is, why is this not working? Let's drop our table posts for now and see what's inside our projections table. Truncate projections. Oh, when I write this, truncate projections, I see this here. And let's try it again. Select star from posts. And here we go. We have our posts. The projector is running. And let's check our application again. And what we see here, the content is showing up. So let's create our final post for today. This prooph demo application can be downloaded at github.com/college/prooph demo. The Professor Do application can be found at we can copy this HTTPS here as well. And while I'm writing this post, we can improve here the template a little bit. The template for the posts list in L2BR. So we have these line breaks here available, and visit us in the Gitter chat. gitter.im prooph/improoph. So that's submitted, and the post is available, and we have these line breaks here as well. So that's it for today. I hope you liked this. Please share and subscribe this video, and stay tuned. There's still coming more. And really, please visit us in the Gitter chat. Leave some feedback. Put some comments under the video. We need some feedback on how you like things, where can we improve, and just keep us motivated to produce more content and more code. So thanks, and bye bye.